Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us. Today, I'm super excited about our amazing guest, Mr. Eric Resiner. Thank you, Eric, for coming up to our podcast, High Rise and Hustle. I just want to start off with just tell us a little bit of what your background is and how you got started in your career. I guess what is your career? I guess, and then
Uh,
we start from there.
so I'm involved in real estate. That's actually how I met Henry. By the way, Henry's a fantastic guy, and I would
Thank
not hesitate to ever talk to him about anything about life and business. He's wise beyond his years and great guy. So
thank you so much, Eric.
much greatly appreciate being here. I'm in real estate. I do a few things in real estate. Not only do I invest, but I'm also a licensed realtor. I'm part of a fantastic team that's nationwide. And Henry, that's actually how I met Henry. And so I fell into it in 2001, not as a realtor, but as an investor. I bought my first house in Tacoma, Washington. And yeah, just kept doing it over and over again. Went through some ups and downs in there, and then I ended up getting a license. And yeah, so I've been doing real estate for about 23, 24 years now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely want to dive a little bit deeper on the program of the pathway because we're here to not only have great conversations, but also to educate individuals to know there's opportunities out here. And this is why we created this platform. Um, okay, so let's get rocking and rolling. What inspired you to venture into both entrepreneurship, a little bit of real estate and sports? Not in
So
that order.
So it started as a kid. I loved being outside. So what do you do when you're outside? You play,
There you go.
and that leads to more organized sports because when you get tired of the noise and the mayhem and you want to get a little more serious, then you start joining teams. Then the kids that just want to mess around, they keep playing. That's fine too. So that that was something that I always wanted to do. I always took it a little more serious. So
Mm.
that kind of showed certain adults that I had maybe some leadership qualities and would kind of organize and get people to say, hey, let's go play baseball or let's go play football. So um, sports was always big in my life. I grew
Mm.
up in a fairly affluent community, so I'm blessed. Um, but I also, we weren't at the top of the food chain. Let's put it to you that way. And so my dad had a good job with IBM, and so we took advantage of the resources that were available for us. So I did everything from running track. Uh, in that, I did high jumping and pole vaulting. I tried everything. So that was something else. But more importantly, when I couldn't play sports, I also like to keep busy, which kind of is like work if you
Mm.
make it into work. So one day people started asking me to do stuff, and I'd say yes. And maybe a neighbor asked me to, hey, do you pull weeds? And I said, sure. So all those things tie together, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And I loved working. All of a sudden, people started paying me some money for it, so I'm like, sure, and I just said yes to everything. Then you quickly find out what you like and don't like.
Right, and that's a cool thing. So it just sounds that sports, because you tried a lot of sports, different activities. It sounds like you did that off the field. That's that about right?
Yeah, and the last thing, I always made it a point to say hello to people when I was walking
Mm,
past them. It just
that's awesome.
helps break you out of your shell.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What are some key lessons that you've learned and from your experience in these fields? For example, just sports. What are some key lessons that I guess that you take with you to this day? You know.
So having a just turned 16-year-old, and he and I have two daughters that have aged out of the youth sports. So my advice is never take it too serious. No,
Mm,
there's no need to get down on yourself. Okay, because once it stops being fun, it's over. All right.
I,
It just has to be fun. It's always a game. Play sports, go out and try things. And the point is you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall down. Okay. It happens to everybody. And what I would suggest is fail faster.
hmm. So let me ask you, and parents are a little bit. I'm gonna play it safe and say they're a little off the wall lately because everyone I need, especially as a coach and as also as a sports parent, as you will know, some of these individuals, these kids, are sometimes see them as a sports ticket out from whatever situation or whatever that is, and could get really intense. We know just in these days and times of social media. How do you stay level headed? Because it's easy to say, so it's great. Like, hey, because competition brings the best out of us, right? Even with your boys and your girls. How do you stay level headed when it gets competitive, or and I love that fact of, hey, just remember having fun, like don't lose that aspect of it. But what happens when it gets a little heated, or things can go other way? How do you stay level grounded?
Um, Unfortunately, there's two ways that can happen. You either have that innate ability from day one. That's just your personality. You keep your cool. The other way it comes through experience,
Mm.
because you learn that blowing up and losing your head doesn't do anything.
That's awesome. You're a really calm guy, man. So I could see you on the field, just kind of just like, hey,
It
just kind
it
of letting
wasn't always that way.
right. Okay.
I have a past. We
Okay.
all do, and
Right.
so I'm not. I'm speaking from experience. I'm
There
definitely
you
not
go.
proud of all my actions, whether it was on the field or as a parent.
Right.
So we're all human.
That's it.
That's
No,
the
no, and I
way
think yeah, and I think just to add to what you're saying, I think it's important, man, because there's a lot of parents that are just losing it and they're forgetting that these kids are still kids and they're learning.
Hopefully they can go home and look in the mirror and reflect on that. But
Yeah,
honestly, if you just think about the kids first, yeah, the kids that nowadays, they don't want to see any of that.
that's it.
They don't
That's
want to
it.
be around it. They don't want to be part of it, and we should we should pay attention to that.
Awesome. Awesome. No, this is great stuff. How was your involvement in sports influence your real estate journey or your entrepreneurial journey?
It just further enhanced the entrepreneurial journey, and I have there have been many moments in my life where people have told me to get a job,
Mm,
and I look at them and I say, I have a job.
there you go.
I have my own business, or I'm doing this. So to each their own. I would never. I don't push my work opinions or what you do in life opinions on people. I tell everyone to go do what you love to do and do it the best you can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, that's great. Can you share? I know this story. I want the whole world to hear this story because every time you tell me a story, I'm always like I always hear it the first time. So I love it. So I want you to just share the story of a major failure in your career and what you learned from it.
Yeah. So earlier I mentioned that I uh, bought my first house in Washington State in 2001. Well, that ended up turning into over 75 uh, houses bought and sold. And by 2009, I was holding on to 29 properties, all up and down the West Coast predominantly. And unfortunately, we had a big drop in our real estate cycle. And I was massively affected, and I ended up going bankrupt, and it caused major problems. So,
I
and
want to stop you right there, Eric. I need some numbers. I want numbers. Like I need some, I love your numbers when you break it because you're a number guy, Eric. So when you break those numbers down, it's real. It's really
So
real numbers.
we'll just put it to you this way. In today's dollars, what I lost would probably be worth somewhere in the range of 45 to $50 million.
That's insane.
Yeah. So most people would have walked away. It was part of the reason of failure of marriage, and I take full responsibility for that. But at the same time, I could have followed the advice to get a job or keep going and get back up on that horse and go. And so what happened from that colossal failure is happening now. And
Mm,
I realized I knew I could do it because I did it. So now I got to fix what was broken. And I realized I just didn't do enough networking and have enough support around me. So now you know who I'm involved with in
right.
part of my real estate life. So I'm well covered by very smart people. So it makes it easier to move forward. But if I had never done that, I wouldn't know any of this.
That's
I
it.
wouldn't I wouldn't, but now I know I can do it, but more importantly, I can help other people get there. And I also said before I didn't have the right reason for doing it, and now I have a mission and my why is thoroughly explained and the vision is clear and there's no noise.
That's
So
it.
it's just smooth sailing. So you can in everything failure related, and this was fairly colossal. Um, there's lessons and reason to move forward and just be better.
And that's just it. It's just, and if it sounds right, it sounds like you just said, no matter what happens, you're going to get your scrapes and your bumps, but just stay the course. Correct?
There's no doubt,
There you
and
go.
you only fail when you stop.
There you go. I
It's
love that.
it's
I
kind of
love
like the stock market analogy. You don't ever lose money on a stock unless you sell it, right?
that. Right.
Or
Right.
it goes
Right.
to zero. But so
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can just this great stuff right here, Eric. Can you just tell me a little bit or just discuss the importance of teamwork and leadership in both sports and business?
it's so Eric is bad at delegating. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, do not go it alone. Don't go anything alone.
Mm,
Even if you're playing a sport where it's say tennis, you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need to hear what people have to say on the outside about what you're doing and all that because it keeps things level. You need to hear it's kind yeah, politics divides everybody in this world today, but all need to hear all sides. Okay, we need to hear what each other are thinking because that's how we get better.
right. Right.
Yep.
Awesome. No,
Yep.
no, that's great. You're absolutely correct on that one. What advice would you give an aspiring young or even older entrepreneurs looking to enter the real estate, or even the real estate game or the industry?
Real estate or anything,
Correct.
fully commit. Don't do anything just dipping your toe.
Mm,
Decide what you want to do, make a plan for it, and go. The plan can change as you go. Okay. But make the plan the best you can now and hit it hard. Go after it. Make it happen.
that's it. So even if I fall down, just continue to keep going. That's what you're telling us.
Immediately get right back up. Immediately. Go
Right.
find somebody who like Henry or me. Call us up and let's talk. We'll lift you up.
Right.
It's you just need positivity. That's
That's
it.
it. And how can we kind of because everybody, not everybody, it's a niche word at this point, Eric. How can we get that positivity? I don't know. I'm just going to just like, hey, I don't know where to get this positivity, Eric. How
So
can I go about doing that?
your gut tells you whether something feels good or doesn't feel good, right? So
Right.
if you're hanging around people and you're not feeling it, that's your gut, right?
Right.
So you have to find people that you relate to and that you want to spend time around. Okay. And so don't try to make people you're currently hanging around into people that they're not.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're not finding where you're at now, if you're not finding what you're looking for, just don't give that up just try other new things till you find what you're looking for.
That's it. That's it. Love it.
Good
Love
things.
it. Yeah, no, that's great. This is great. Thank you for the advice. And this is where I love this part. I want to know more about the program and what you offer for. I know it's first time home buyers.
Yep.
I'm going to let you break it down because of course it sounds better coming from you. But please tell me about the program. And yeah, I think it's an amazing program for individuals that are looking to purchase and probably either have credit issues or just don't know how to start and think, I need X amount. And that's not the case with this program. So if you could let us in, this is where it gets fun now.
All right. So everybody out there probably knows there's realtors, then there's investors, and different people can help you find houses. Sometimes people rent because they think they can't buy. Sometimes realtors can help them, and they know various government programs that are out there. But then there are some private people like myself who may have gotten together with other private individuals. And so I'm going to give a canned little speech here. I hate doing stuff like this, but
I love it. I love it.
this is the formal part, but it's cute and it really sums up the mission. So I'm part of a nationwide network of certified affordable housing providers. What we do, it's our collective mission to help hardworking and deserving families and individuals, regardless of their credit background or financial standing, okay, to enjoy the American dream of homeownership.
Mm.
All right. How does that sound to you, Henry?
No, it sounds amazing. Now I just want you to break it down for us.
So it's simple. If you don't qualify today for traditional financing, but you could otherwise afford a house, like maybe you're paying a lot of money in rent to a landlord, and it doesn't make any sense because if I go over there and buy that house, it's the same dollar amount. The only thing I don't have a huge amount of maybe is a down payment, or maybe my credit isn't at a point where I can qualify for that loan right now, but a year or two doing a little extra work to correct that, I'd qualify.
Mm.
So I'm the nationwide network that I'm part of. We'll literally, if you come into our program, it's membership based. It's not a huge dollar amount. So it's a level of commitment. And also we collect personal documents. So we have to do things legally. So we'll literally qualify you for what you can afford, and then we'll help you go shop for a house, and you'll pick it, and we'll buy it for you.
So
And
wait,
you'll be our tenant until you can close on your own with your own loan.
so basically for a low amount, you're going to help me purchase this home and educate me in the process. That's what this sounds like.
Correct. And you'll have experts. So I've been investing since 2001, and I've personally owned a lot of real estate, but I've also been a realtor as well for a number of years. So you have expert guidance helping you along the way, but more importantly, you're going to be learning a skill. We're going to teach you how to do what we do.
That's
And
awesome.
maybe you like it, but it's a skill down the road you'll be able to recall and use for your own, hopefully.
That's awesome. And then what is it, specific states, or how does that look?
Eric, me, I operate out of Connecticut, but I have business partners in multiple states, including Henry. So I have coverage in New York. I'm in New Hampshire. I have a daughter that happens to go to school in Burlington, Vermont. So I have coverage there.
Awesome.
Business partner in Washington State, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware right now.
So if you're listening to this right now, there's no excuse to not only educate yourself, ask some questions, and see if you could become a homeowner. Okay, so please take advantage of this because this is why Eric is here. I think the program is amazing.
I'm gonna step in here for a moment because right now, for It may seem a little counterintuitive. There's not a lot of inventory, okay,
Okay.
in most markets, but nobody is shopping for houses as a result of it. So this is a prime time for people to jump in there and try to get something. The thing I will tell you is, bring your tool belt, because the more work you're willing to do, instead of giving the investor the return on that doing the repair work, do it yourself and you get the equity. Build your own equity will help you do it.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit what's equity if someone's kind of checking this out or listening to us for the first time? I like to educate our young guys and young gals and pronouns and all that fun stuff. But what's equity?
Okay, so the equity is the difference between what you pay for something and what it's worth.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so if you buy a house for 150,000 and it's worth 300 after it's fixed up, there's 150,000 of potential equity. Let's say it costs 50,000 to fix it, so you have 100,000 of equity. Okay,
Okay.
right? So if Eric buys that house for 150 and I put my 50 into it, I've got 200,000 in it. I'm going to sell that house for 300,000. That $100,000 of equity is mine. That's my return on my investment, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
In my program, I say we'll go buy that house for 150, sell it to our tenant buyer for a higher price. That work that I would pay 50,000 to do, we'll let the tenant buyer do it. They'll use their money to do it. We'll make sure they have it and they can afford it, and there'll be an arrangement with us. But that equity is theirs. So, right. So
Right.
if they take, let's say it only costs them 25,000 to do that $50,000 worth of work, because they're going to do their own labor and the materials are the same whether I
Right.
pay for it. So the difference is I have to pay a contractor to go do the work. So it costs me 50.
Okay.
The tenant buyer who's in the program, they can do their own work and make the money, and that becomes their equity. And then the 100,000 is theirs.
And you could pretty much that's money on the table, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we set our customers up for those kind of situations.
And this is why
We do make a little bit of money in there, but we're providing a service, and our customers know exactly what's going on, and all the paperwork is very well spelled out.
yeah, but it's a game changer, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And this is why you're here. I think
Yeah.
it's important for us to know what this program is about, man. And
I
I
think
love
it's a
it.
great opportunity for
Absolutely.
people that really think, it's going to be a while. Now's a good time to try, because
Absolutely.
a lot of people are sitting it out.
This is not the time to sit out.
Not if if you want something bad enough.
There you go.
I'm going to say make it happen. It's kind of reverts back to the beginning of the
There
call.
you go.
You fell
That's it.
down. Let's get up.
That's it.
Henry's holding out his hand.
There you go. That's it. No. This is wonderful. So, what one piece of advice you have or you have received early in your career?
There were a lot of pieces of advice, and I was not in a position to hear it.
Okay.
So my advice to everybody is pay attention to people's words, because often there's more to it.
Tell me a little bit more about that, Eric.
So I'm learning things now. I'm 56. As it turns out, I'm relearning things. The
Okay.
things that I heard before, and because maybe how we're taught in school, or not taught, and this conversation can go deep, so I'm not going to go there. But you recall things that maybe you heard at a younger age, like earlier in your career, and it's like, nah, that's not real.
Right.
So you just kind of brush it off. So I've learned that a lot of times people say things because it's real, but for whatever reason, it's not mainstream and we're not meant to pay attention to it. So sometimes things that you hear, it's good to go do a little extra research and deep dive a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but more importantly, be a leader. I at a very young age, I had a couple teachers who happened to be also coaches, and they're just like, "Man, you're a natural leader. Just keep doing what you're doing." So my advice would be step up and be leaders, because that, especially if you're kind of in a shell, because
Right.
that'll help you out of your shell.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the theme of this conversation. I think it's just kind of keep showing up, even for the younger ones that are hopefully listening to this. You have to take those opportunities because that's how you learn. I think that's just how you learn. You know what I mean? So that's super awesome. Who has been your biggest influence or mentor in your journey, and why?
So to be honest, I didn't have career mentors up until I met my investor mentor. His name is Lou Brown, and then he introduced me to my other mentor, which is Gary Wilson, who is Henry knows well as well. So right now they're my business mentors. I gotta be honest, my mom, up until the point she passed away, was a big mentor in my life, just for life and spiritual things, and yeah, just someone to talk to. Um, I think that went both ways though, so that was a great relationship. So
So
my
so so
my
you have
father passed away when I was 24, so it's been a while.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be so Mr. Lou Brown, you have Gary Wilson, and your mother were
Yep.
really they had a big impact in your life.
So um, if you don't have a parent that you can go to as a mentor, find an adult, a trusting adult that you can. Here's how you know they'll share stuff with you, not weird stuff. Just yeah, just that your gut will tell you.
There you go.
But the reality is, you can tell they'll offer you good advice. Okay, they're not steering you in any direction. They just, they'll ask you, how do you feel about that? What do you think? And then when you start asking questions about them, then they'll start talking about themselves. So anyway, I try to find that one adult that you can confide in, whether it's a coach, or a teacher at school. Um, it's just somebody to bounce ideas off of that's
That's
not your
it.
parent. Yeah.
That's it. Even if you're an adult, accountability partner. You know what I mean? I think that's important. It's important.
It the world the unfortunately the world's gone away from that, but it's really something that's needed, because I have experience that you don't have,
There you go.
and then that needs to go down to the kids that are 10,
Right.
right? The world's changing quick, and we need to know, some of that's good, some of it's bad. Here's what's working, here's what's not, but what's right and wrong, who knows?
Hey, no,
You
you're
just got to get
absolutely
out
right.
there and try it. But it's like, the biggest advice that you're going to get from most of us, you're going to fail.
That's it.
Absolutely,
That's it.
100%.
That's it.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love that advice. I really do. I really do. Hey Eric, can you recommend any books, podcasts, or just resources for our listeners who are just interested in real estate or even
Yeah,
entrepreneur?
real estate, anything, the two mentors, Lou Brown or Gary Wilson. I don't know if you post stuff on your podcast links. You have the links for Gary, so put that up.
I'll definitely add it for these guys for after this podcast. I'll definitely add them up and
Yeah,
post them
and
up for.
then yeah, books. I'm kind of boring. Along, never been a big reader.
Okay.
As a kid, I liked books like Catcher in the Rye. I was a big spy novel, but World War II era. So Ken Follett had a series of books in that era. Eye of the Needle was one of my favorites because it was based on the kind of the all the spy stuff that happened around D-Day, and that whole thing. So the war history is one of my things. From the standpoint of reading, I think Robert Kiyosaki has a few good books out. Think and Be Rich is always a good book to read.
Okay. Yeah, I love that one. That one, I can't get tired of reading that one.
And then a book that it might be a little bit more advanced, but it definitely applies to, it can apply to kids too. It's called The One Thing.
Okay. And who's the author? Would you
hold on? I'm gonna walk away for 1 second. Yep. The One Thing.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And it's really, what that does is it tells you not to do too many different things, but at the end of the day, do one more thing.
The power of one more.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what's the author? Did you tell me the author on that one?
I didn't. Want me to get it?
Yeah. Please. Let's do it. This is real time. I love it.
See if I can get that to come up now.
Not really, but if you could just read
it's the One Thing by Gary Keller.
Oh, okay.
Keller.
Okay, great. Yeah, no,
here's the subtitle: The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Eric. Eric, have a couple more, and I think we're done for today, man. But what are your future goals and projects that we should be on the lookout for?
So one of my goals is to help a guy named Henry Perez build a portfolio of real estate. So that's my goal. But Gary Wilson and Lou Brown have provided me with immense levels of tools, and I know I have support to help Henry, and I have a bunch of friends and acquaintances like Henry dotted all across the country. So we're going to hopefully help a lot of people, and I know it's going to be fun. So, and in the interim, in the process, Henry is going to hopefully learn a ton, and he's going to do well.
No, and I'm definitely excited about it, Eric. I know you have mentioned something about a development. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Eric? I'm not going to let you off with that one.
I'm squirming because we all fall down and we all get stuck on stuff. Right. And so when I got divorced, I happened to live over in Singapore, came back to the U.S., ended up back in Connecticut, and small town. I met a girl, wasn't planning on it. She had some real estate from previous marriage, and so it's got a little old carriage house that was built in the 1700s. Man, the thing's about to fall down. So it's like, yeah, we could fix it up. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bath. So what are you gonna do with it? So I'm like, let's knock it down and build 10 condos. Well, how are we gonna do it? It's only zoned for single family. I know these zoning things we can do from my commercial real estate experience, and so I can get the zoning changed, no problem. So we're working on a concept, and hopefully I'm close to raising the capital to get it going. But we're going to turn a property that had 1 house and 1 unit for 1 family into possibly 10 units for 10 people. They're not going to be big enough for families, but 2 people is fine. But it provides housing in an environment that is really needed. There's a lack of inventory,
right?
And it's affordable.
And that's
the zoning we're going to use to get it approved.
And that's why I said that I think that's an amazing mission, vision, Eric, and even from day one, man. And I'm going a little off the script, man. There was just something about you, man. We met really quick, But I just respect your grind. I respect who you are and what you do, what you represent, man. And I'm thankful for just meeting you. But I'm excited for the future, man. I'm really am, Eric. So I definitely wanted to say thank you for your time. And how can we reach you? You know, I definitely going. I know we're gonna have individuals knocking on the door regarding that program. So how can we get in contact with you?
So if you can see my screen, my email's up there, but my phone number is 425 770 2479. I have a website. Well, tell you what, just email me or call me. So Eric, ERIC at Coliseumco, COLISEUMCO.com, or phone number 425-770-2479. You can always just text, say Henry sent me, and happy to chat.
Awesome. Thank you again, Eric, man. And again, thank you again for your time, man. I know we've learned a lot. It's a lot to digest. You're gonna have to hear rewind a couple of times, man. But thank you for this time. Thank you. I really do
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you, Henry. You're doing good things, and it's good form. And let's help you out. Let's help some people, and everybody be good. Go be leaders.
There you go. That's it. So thank you for your time, everyone. Until the next one. Have a good one.
Thank you.